Hey, what's going on, everybody? This is your boy Brandon, aka ffclay, back with another video representing Transcend Global. Where humanity ends is where divinity begins. Feels good to be back. I took the weekend off. I took maybe the last 2 or 3 days off. Just learning the difference between consistency and also a rhythm. I don't want to, like I said, I always say, I don't want to be a talking head just for the sake of having two lips to be able to talk and to have a smartphone. I actually want to have something significant to say, and so I'm just finding my rhythm. It feels good, but piggybacking off of that thought, um, I've been in a real good streak. I've been finding my momentum and my rhythm and consistency, and so I took Saturday as a day of rest, which is nothing wrong with it. But in that, for me, it became overindulgence because a program that I was watching and was streaming, first of all, it started like an hour later than it was supposed to do, and then it lingered on so long that it went until like about 1 o'clock, maybe closer to 1:30 in the morning. And after I got done, I mean, it was decent, but it was not a full disappointment, but it was not what I was expecting. But I just had like a icky feeling, like it just was like a feeling of like unproductivity and just kind of just like yuckiness. And for me, I'm not being dogmatic or rigid because everybody is different. Everybody has different convictions, but that was almost equivalent to like a 7 or 8 hour shift. If you're working a traditional job, or if you're just working for yourself, or developing yourself, or building, or studying, researching, whatever it is that you're doing, it was just like it's 6 or 7 hours that I can't get back, which is nothing wrong with rest. There's nothing wrong with relaxation. There's nothing wrong with entertainment. For me, it's more so about a conviction of moderation, um, and just really pacing yourself and finding your rhythm. And so for me, it was just like, well, that's 6 or 7 hours that I can't get back, that I lost productivity of when I could have been doing something to further myself or get to where it is I'm trying to reach. And so I believe in self-awareness. I think that's the highest thing and the best thing that you can cultivate is just self-awareness within yourself about where you're at. And so I was, like you said, just really walking that fine line between um, discipline, or discipline, and work and play or relaxation. Like there's nothing wrong with relaxation and play, like I said before, or downtime. And there's no really, it's not a badge of honor to be a workaholic either. There's somewhere in the middle. I know that for me, I don't believe that there will ever be a such thing as balance, like just complete balance. But there is a rhythm, or there is a harmony that you can flow in, where your life has a rhythm to where you work hard, and then you also relax and you play hard, but it does not take you out of rhythm of the momentum that you've established. And so for me, I just noticed that um, an old self-sabotage program, to where when I begin to pick up momentum on things that I've been working on, and I may see some visible evidence that it's working, but it's more so about the feeling on the inside. And then in the past, I've allowed that to trick me out of my spot, as if the feeling was good enough, as if I've arrived somewhere, and I haven't arrived anywhere, or I haven't attained what I set out to attain. But just that feeling or satisfaction that is beginning to work, or that I'm seeing some fruit from my labor, uh, ego will come in with the self-sabotage program or mechanism to make me relax and feel like I've accomplished something, when in reality I haven't accomplished anything. And even when I do get to the point to where I feel like I have accomplished some of the things that I set out to accomplish, just really having a mindset of never arriving. But on the opposite end of that spectrum is, like I said, I'm not against rest, I'm not against play, because I believe in um, the harmony between the two. And I believe that's when you see the fruit. Like, for instance, in harvest, like, you plant the seeds, but you don't continue to plant the seed or continue to dig it up, every day or every other day, and interrupt the process. And there, part of the process is detaching and letting go, and allowing the process to take place, or some people may say let go and let God, whatever your conviction is. But rest and relaxation and detachment is a part of the process. But for me, I noticed in the past how I have allowed that to trick me out of my spot. And so it could just be me, but I don't believe that it is. I believe that there are those out there who have experienced the same thing, and it's really just about being self aware and catching yourself. Discipline is key, but discipline does not mean rigid, does not mean that you don't experience pleasure of any kind, or that you don't do anything fun, or you don't enjoy yourself, or you don't enjoy the fruits of your labor. That's the other end of the spectrum, and that is mainly propagated by religion. Asceticism, like the harder you punish yourself and deprive yourself of pleasure, the more you pleasing you are to God, and that's not the case either. But discipline is definitely in order, especially when you are, because you are in that process of transforming from the person that you are into the person that you want to be able to attain the things that you want to attain. Discipline is key. That discipline is mainly mental and spiritual. We have to, and I believe that you can do rigorous inner work and it still does not look like work to others. That's a whole nother different dimension of rest that we're talking about, and I believe that's possible. And I believe that is the key, is the inner work. It's not so much about what you do on the outside, but it is about abstaining about certain things on the outside as well, if that keeps you from your goal. And then I'm not talking about self-discipline just for the sake of self-discipline, or like I said, punishing yourself, but you have to channel that energy and that focus and attention that you are using and channel that into what it is that you are building. So it's not just abstaining from certain things or not doing certain things and thinking that that is going to get you where you need to go, but you have to take that energy, that focus, that time, those resources that you are abstaining from one thing and place that all into the focus and channeling of that energy into meeting your goals or your intentions or your desires. And so again, not discipline for discipline's sake. And like just thinking about it, like how the church has propagated it, and their intentions may have been pure, but I believe a lot of it is faulty interpretation of man, or some of it can be intentional, as far as religion and just the binding of people and suppressing people from becoming who it is that who they really are and who they are supposed to become in God. But you seen like in the church, discipline or righteousness or holiness meant observing certain outside things like dressing a certain way or not going to the movies, not dancing, not going to the club, not watching TV, not going to the movies, abstaining from alcohol, and whatever, and all those things have a measure of virtue in them. But I believe that also man's faulty interpretation got involved as well. Like what I'm learning is, like, for instance, Paul said that all things are beneficial, or all things are lawful, but not all things are beneficial, or not all things are expedient. And then he also talks about doing things in moderation. So for instance, like telling someone to abstain from alcohol or sex, premature sex, or too much consumption of TV or now social media. So certain limits and parameters I'm for, but it may not be the reason that originally was propagated. Like they may have what they were saying was right, but they may not have had the full understanding or revelation of why. So instead of telling people what and what not to do, also give them understanding. Now with all of this information that has come forth in the information age that we're in, more understanding has been brought forth. Now we're able to relay that. So we're not only saying, okay, not necessarily don't do this, but don't indulge in it, and this is the reason why. And like that just kind of like piggybacks off what I was talking about at the beginning of the video. Like for instance, alcohol may or may not be everybody's struggle, but is it expedient or is it benefit? Like, yeah, you can do it every day, but is it beneficial? Is that bringing you closer to your goals and who you want to be and what you want to do or further? Okay, that's a measure. That's something that you have to measure and weigh the pros and the cons. Be self-aware within yourself and be real. The consumption of movies, TV, and social media, that may or may not be a crutch or somebody's struggle. and for others it may. And so it's not a condemnation of what you are or are not doing, but you just have to be real and take inventory within yourself. Is it bringing you closer to who you want to be and what you want to do, or further away? And that's why moderation comes in. That, like, there's nothing wrong with taking breaks in between work, whatever that looks like for you, to indulge or relax, or to let off some steam, in rhythm with what it is that you're doing. But if it becomes too much, or if you get too far in it, then it becomes overindulgence, and then now it's dragging you away from what it is, the path that you were on, that's taking momentum away from you. It is tricking you out of your position. So that's just where I'm coming from. And so I just wanted to share that, because I observed that within myself and got back on track. And there was no condemnation, but it was like, well, you don't have time to relax and let your hair down as if you've accomplished something when you haven't accomplished anything. And even when you do accomplish something, relax, rest, celebrate, play, congratulate yourself, but not to the extent to where it takes you all the way out of what it is that you just accomplished. And now you have to work 10 times harder in order to get back where you were. And so that's all I'm saying, is that there is a balance between work and play, between rest, entertainment, work. Discipline is key. That discipline is more so internal, it's spiritual, and it's mental, but it does include physical things that may interfere with your inner work. And so everybody has to determine what that looks like and how that feels for them. But in everything, moderation is definitely key, but self-awareness above everything. If you like this or got value from it, like, comment, share, subscribe, do all those good things. Comment, feedback, and let me know what y'all think about this. Until next time, peace.